What's the word, y'all? Moon's back with another one on this Tuesday morning. Champions League, waiver wire. Let's get to it. Full show for y'all today. We got week 4 top waiver ads, some sleepers in there. We got rostered percentage. UCL back today. Match day 2 today and tomorrow. We got our locks dropping for tomorrow, along with the MLS. Full slate tomorrow, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Yo, I forgot about that Seattle Sounders game. I think it was, what was it? Sunday night? I think it was at 7. Bruh, straight fell asleep, missed the second half of that Rams-Bucks game. Missed the Sunday night game. Wake up, all I care about is that them hitters hit on the show. Send it. Let's go. So we just looking at Dallas right now, a little preview. We'll look at the latest high stakes takes locks. We got three more locks hit yesterday. Cowboys and the over. Shout out Joe. He hit Cowboys -3.5. I thought it was a divisional game. One of them games that it's going to come back. It's going to get sketchy. But that man threw him on the spread. Hit the 2-team parlay. What else he hit? I think he hit the over on Elliott's receiving yards. It's crazy. I've been doing so much trying to get like a few hours of sleep in, grinding, bruh. It's not just you. It's tough to just respond to people in general, right? Life gets crazy. But I'm seeing you doing your thing, boy. Showing you love on the show. Here it is. Over 2.5 passing tutties for Dak 2. Plus 140 odds. Send it. Let's go. And make sure you go check out the last show too. Cooking. I think I hit 10 out of 16 locks, right? We said this is a show. It's not just going to throw out 5 locks for you. We're going to come with a full slate. You already know how high stakes takes coming. So let's get into it. We're going to kick off with the week 4 top waiver ads. First one of the week. A little obvious, but this is only as long as Kenny and Drake is out. We got Peyton Barber, the Raiders running back. Last week came out of nowhere. 23 rushes for 111 yards and 1 touchdown. Adding 3 catches on 5 targets through the air for another 31 yards. Let's go. And it's probably going to be everyone putting in a waiver claim for him. So if you got a top priority, it'll be a solid pickup, but it's going to be tough to try to get him. And then working with the fab, especially with Drake. It's actually Josh Jacobs. I wrote Drake out. It's actually Josh Jacobs. See? As we're cooking it. As long as Kenny and Drake not getting as many rushes and not producing on the ground, and as long as Josh Jacobs is out, make sure you put in a waiver claim for Peyton Barber this week. 8% rostered. Make sure you go after that. My next top waiver ad for the week, we got Emmanuel Sanders. A little bit more rostered, but I think he will be out there because he hasn't really produced. He got decent targets, especially on a team where he's throwing to Dawson Knox a little bit. You got Cole Beasley, who's always gonna eat. Then you got Stephon Diggs, who's just an absolute animal. So this is one for like those 2 flex leagues or a 12-team flex league where, all right, you lost a wideout or you don't have a good matchup. I think Emmanuel Sanders, solid flex play. So at 26% rostered, he's ranked 72nd in PPR this year. And he has fire matchups all the way through week 10. So that's a flex play for at least, 7 weeks? And then it gets tough with New Orleans, New England, but you never know. Emmanuel Sanders can continue to produce. You never know with injuries. So make sure you pick him up. I don't think he'll have too many waiver claims on him, so I think you might be able to sneak out with Emmanuel Sanders on Wednesday morning. So that's my second waiver ad of the week. The next one, this is more obvious. We got Chuba Hubbard, obviously, with C-Mac, Christian McCaffrey injured again. It's tough to see him go down like that, but Chuba Hubbard, he didn't do too bad in that game, had 11 rushes for 52 yards. So that's solid. And with CMC at least being out a few weeks, I think Chuba Hubbard will be a solid play. You do have to watch out for Royce Freeman. He is going to get some touches. And with a rookie running back, they might run the hot hand. But I think Chuba Hubbard, only 26% rostered, going to be one of the top players with waiver claims put in on for him this week. So I think just put one in there. Hopefully you get him. And if you get him, you could for sure start him versus Dallas. The next one we got, Hunter Renfrow. Now this is a sneaky one. Only 11% rostered, wide out for the Las Vegas Raiders. So far this year, he has 16 catches on 22 targets through 3 weeks. He's 204 yards, that's solid. Scored a touchdown in his last game. But the key stat I'm looking for is he has 5 catches, or at least 5 catches every week. Week 1 he has 6. But 5 catches every week, averaging 68 yards in an offense that wants to throw because of their running back injuries. And Peyton Barber, 23 rushes for 111. I don't think you could expect that every week, but he will be serviceable if you are missing some players, or if you do have Josh Jacobs, have to go get the handcuff. And that's really with any of your top players. If you have a top player that if you lose them, it's going to kill you on the season, make sure you go get their handcuff. And the handcuff means whether it's the back of running back, the back of wide out. I don't know what folks doing out there. It's not garbage day, so I don't know what's happening out there. But Hunter Renfrow, 11% rostered. I don't think too many people are going to be on him this week. So one of those players, flex position, double flex. Make sure you go get him. I think he's going to be a solid pickup. The next couple, we got a couple defense and special teams. Yo, what the fuck is happening out there? We gonna power right through this. The next one we got defense and special teams, Cincinnati Bengals. Now this is one of the top defensive ads of the week. Only 4% rostered. We said them a couple weeks ago that they have a solid defense. Versus Pittsburgh, it played in perfectly, especially with Deontay Johnson out. And Ben, he's getting to that later half of his career, man. Later half, really like later quarter, right? He's on that. He's not on the up anymore, right? I'm trying to be as nice as possible because he has put in work. One of the longest tenured quarterbacks in the league, so you gotta show that respect. But right now, not playing up to his speed, up to par, not good enough to get wins right now. So Cincinnati Bengals torched them last week. Only gave up 10 points. And after giving up 24 points in week 1, over the past 2 weeks, they've given up 24 points total. So, and on top of that, they aren't just a solid defense, not getting takeaways and sacks and just holding them to low points. They got at least 3 sacks per game with 10 sacks on the year. They have 4 takeaways. And in this game coming up, week 4, they're facing Jacksonville at home. So we've seen Trevor Lawrence. He still makes those rookie mistakes, which are expected. So Bengals at home versus Jacksonville, send that. Make sure you put in a waiver claim for Cincinnati. And this is a defense I picked. This next one is a defense I picked up last week just knowing they're playing Carolina. And even though they're my squad, right, it don't matter in fantasy. You don't play no favorites. So Dallas Cowboys. Hell of a game last night on Monday Night Football. Shout out the boys. And 6% rostered, only 4 sacks on the season, and losing DeMarcus Lawrence, that's a huge loss on that pass rush. But 8 takeaways, 2 picks in each game. And I almost sent Jalen Hurts minus 120 to throw a pick. And he ended up throwing 2. But we stayed away from that. Didn't want to get greedy, but we could have went 4-0. But they scored a tutty, pick to the house, Trayvon Diggs, send it. And facing Carolina at home, Carolina traveling on the road without Christian McCaffrey, J.C. Horn missing on defense. They're dealing with a lot right now. And you're putting a lot on Sam Darnold's shoulders. And he's been playing well so far. But you know Sam, he's gonna make some decisions where you question it, right? So I'm thinking Dallas Cowboys at home, 6% rostered. This is a sleeper, which I'm looking at the top trends over here on Yahoo, and all these percentages are based off Yahoo. We'll switch off week to week just to give whatever people that are listening, whatever leagues they're in, like some sleeper, some maybe. We don't do ESPN because that's straight garbage, basura. But we do Yahoo. So, see, they're not even on the top of the waiver ads right now. Right? I can't find them. Denver. They're not even out there as one of the top waiver ads. So that's kind of nuts. So they're probably going to be a sleeper this week if they aren't already owned in your league. Definitely take Dallas Cowboys at home versus Carolina Panthers this week. And the last waiver ad we got. I don't know how this man is still 23% rostered, but Tim Patrick, if you don't have him on your roster or he is not rostered in your league, make sure you go put in a waiver claim for him. He only has 13 targets on the season, but caught 12 of them. So only one, I'm not even going to say drop. It could just be a missed throw. Bruh, that's almost catching every single one of your targets this year. He put up 98 yards last week, which 5 catches on 5 targets for 98 yards. Ended up not scoring a touchdown, but it's pretty much a blowout game by Denver where they just got to run in the ball. Javonte Williams, animal. Melvin Gordon, beautiful change of pace back there in the backfield. So I'm thinking Tim Patrick, and then especially with KJ Hamler, just tearing his ACL. Shout out that man, a youngin. Hopefully he gets back, comes back better than ever. I hate seeing crazy injuries like that, but comes with the season, man. Comes with football. That's just tough, though. And with Jerry Jeudy still out, I think Tim Patrick, only being 23% rostered after producing 3 straight weeks, you got to go pick him up. If you have injuries on your roster, if you have a double flex league, make sure Tim Patrick is in there. So, what was that? 7 waiver ads this week for y'all. Cipher through, pick which ones you want. Make sure you do your research. And after Wednesday morning, right? Set your alarm, however much money you're playing for in your league, however much it matters to you, make sure you set your alarm because those waivers go through, I think, a little after 3 o'clock. As soon as those waivers go through, and if you're in a league where if someone gets dropped, they don't go on waivers, which I don't really like. I'm in a league like that on Sleeper. It's just kind of whack, right? Everyone should be able to have an opportunity, not just those people that are just fiending on the waiver wire. But if you're in a league like that, Wednesday morning, make sure you go check your waiver wire and any top players that are dropped. Make sure you sort by roster percentage, see all those top players, and make your decision on. Because there could be some top players that are dropped, right? Just because they had a slow season so far. Go pick them up if you feel confident. And always make sure you're checking that waiver wire on Wednesday morning to see who was dropped. You never know. You never know. So, those are my week 4 top waiver ads and a couple little sneaky ones. Let's bring it over to the Champions League Tuesday locks. You already know. Liverpool on the road versus Porto today. Is that how we're going to kick it off? Yeah, let's do it. So, Porto at home versus Liverpool. Porto's last Champions League game, they drew on the road. They drew on the road versus Atletico Madrid, which solid performance, probably should have lost, but facing a Liverpool team that, granted, they just gave up 3 goals to Brentford, but there was a couple weird goals in there. Like, you know what I mean? That one where Alexander-Arnold was on the ground, had his back turned, Alisson not really going up and getting the ball, and then allowing that weird game-tying goal at the end of the game. That's how it goes sometimes. So, I think with the over-under at 2.5, that's easy. Now, here's the full slate of my locks right here. Quick little parlay. Something just shifted. Can't really see what it was, but something shifted. Oh, actually, these are my locks through Wednesday. Little quick preview. Wednesday, we're taking Atalanta, the over 2.5 on that Salzburg versus Lille. That'll probably shift up in odds. And then Bayern Munich versus Dynamo Kiev. That has already shifted, I'm pretty sure, from like -130 to -145. If it does shift to 4.5, stay away from it, but a few little locks for Wednesday. But in this Porto versus Liverpool game, Liverpool beat AC Milan at home 3-2 in what was a hell of a game, but Liverpool have been letting up goals as of late, and I'm still going to rock with them. They're my team. They say don't rock with the home team, but, bruh, if you've been betting Liverpool over their past, 2 years, 3 years, you are caked up. You are caked up, my guy. So, in this game, on the road, I'm going to take Liverpool -0.5. And that's one of them things where -0.5, that means they have to win by at least 1 goal. That's at -140. If you look at their money line, that's -150. A little shift, and either way, they have to win. So you might as well go take the tougher odds. Boost them duckies just a little bit. And I'm going to take Liverpool -0.5, which is -140 odds, plus the over 2.5. I think coming off that 3-3 draw, Champions League, we don't play around. You know, Klopp don't play around when it comes to Champions League. So I'm going to take Liverpool -0.5 and the over 2.5 in that game. Now this game, this next one, oh my God, I just seen it shift back. So AC Milan just last night was +187 at home versus Atletico Madrid. Over under at 2.5 in that game. Pretty sure it's still at that, yeah. +140 to hit the over. Probably won't hit the over, so we'll stay away from it. But this is a bet you have to get. This would probably be +170 each side by the time this game kicks off at 3 Eastern. So AC Milan +0.5 added in. I'm almost positive AC Milan has enough to get this victory at home, especially with how Atletico Madrid has been playing lately. Pretty sure they just lost to Alaves on the road. And missing Stefan Savic. Now, with Ibrahimovic out, Bakayoko out, I wouldn't be too worried about it. Florenzi, he might get back in there. But I think they have enough with solid makers. They got Leao, Rebic, and I think they sat in their last league game over the weekend. They sat Leao and Brahim Diaz. Bruh, both are going to be starting. Brahim Diaz in that, false 9, center attacking midfield position. Bruh, AC Milan going to win this game. And at +180, I think that's solid odds. I wrote them down +187 to be safe. We'll take them. +0.5 at -200. So I'll actually write that shit down too. Because that's something where just this morning, I was looking at it and AC Milan was favored. +160 to +180, the opposite direction. Now it just shifted again within half hour into dead ass. Right before I started this, it was like that. So it's kind of crazy, but in this game, we're going to take AC Milan +0.5. Or if you're confident, +180 on the money line. Hell of a pick. And we got 2 more games for you today. Let's go. Champions League Matchday 2. Fucking send it. So at 12:45 p.m., this is the early game. We're going to stay away from the other early game. But the one we are going with is Ajax, who's favored -900 last time we checked. They still are. And with the goals, over under 3.5, that's easy. Besiktas, they're missing so many players. Even Batshuayi, one of their new signings, he's out for this game. So I don't think they have enough to keep up with Ajax. Ajax have been playing out of their mind lately. We took them over the weekend, -2.5. Hit up. But in this game, I think it's going to be tough. I think they'll win like 3-1. Besiktas will get a random goal in there. But -900, we're going to stay away from that. Even though they'll win, that's like an obvious pick. We're also going to stay away from the -2.5. But the over 3.5 in this game, which was -110 even odds this morning, well, just like 12 hours ago, it is now shifted to -135. So make sure you go get that in early. It might shift up to like -160, but it won't hit 4.5 goals. So you could definitely get that in however long up until kickoff. So my lock for that one. And Ajax is coming off a game where, in their last Champions League game, beat Sporting 5-1 on the road. So that leads right into my next lock. So Ajax versus Besiktas, lock in over 3.5 for today. And my last couple locks for the day, 3 p.m., Dortmund versus Sporting. Now, we took Dortmund last week. And let me just give you, little insight, which is, it's not fucking crazy stats or analytics. It's the obvious, right? If Haaland doesn't play, do not bet Dortmund, right? I mean, that's obvious. But it ended up happening in the last game, which they're saying it's a muscle injury. I think he just got rested because he played in every game so far this year. So Dortmund, I'm thinking them at home versus Sporting. Sporting just losing 5-1 to Ajax. Dortmund being a way more prolific team. And if Haaland starts, I'm going to take Dortmund -1.5, which is sitting at now +130 odds. The over under 3.5 in that game has shifted down to 2.5, which is kind of crazy. Let me just make sure there isn't some late breaking news with Erling Haaland. Hope he recovers in time. Sits out of training. Oh, he sat out of training. If he doesn't play, do not throw him in. That's like the early obvious. He sat out of training. They could just be resting him. But Haaland, Champions League, you know that man. He's one of them players. He got that tenacity. He got that grit. He's not going to want to miss a Champions League game. So if he does play, my 2 locks for this game, which it's even better now. I was going to take the over 3.5. But with over 2.5, that's an obvious pick, especially with how Sporting played versus Ajax. And Dortmund sitting minus. They were 275, shifted down just a little to -225. But I'm thinking Dortmund, they'll cover the 2-goal spread. I'm going to take a -1.5 at +130 odds. And I'm going to take the over 2.5. If you parlay all that together, which I'll throw a couple singles, but I always throw that parlay out there, right? You just always have to. I'm not Nostradamus. I'm not like week 1 of the Premier League where I'm going to go fucking 10-0 on the Saturday. But it does happen sometimes. And when the vibes are going right, 3-0 last night, could have been 4-0. I think this Champions League day about to hit, son. About to hit. Let's cook. Let's fucking cook. And shout out Jay Moons. Seen him see the story last night. That's my brother. I know that man in the future. We gonna link up on a sports podcast. Dead ass. And back in the day when we was youngins, he put me on to the fantasy drafts in Madden. Got my knowledge up. I even think that's his jersey right there. Old school shit. Iverson. Old school Iverson through the legs. Crossing up Michael Jordan. So, shout out my brother. And locks cooking today. So, run through the locks quick. Ajax versus Besiktas over 3.5. Dortmund -1.5 plus the over 2.5 only if Haaland plays. And if Haaland's out there and starting, that over 2.5 gonna switch to 3.5. So get it in early just in case. And I would, if anything, just parlay that game. Leave it out of the rest of the picks because you really never know. And AC Milan +0.5 versus Atletico Madrid, and AC Milan at home. I think that's huge. And with how AC Milan played against Liverpool in their first Champions League game, Matchday 1, I think they're going to play a hell of a game versus Atletico Madrid. And Liverpool, let's go. Let's fucking go. Liverpool -0.5 plus the over 2.5. In their last game versus Porto, beat them 4-1 on the road. I think the game previous to that where they played on the road versus Porto, I think it was a 0-0 draw. And then the game before that on the road beat them 5-1. So 9 goals in their past 3 games on the road versus Porto. Solid. So I cannot wait. Most of the games kick off at 3. Inter versus Shakhtar Donetsk. Stay away from it. And any games I don't pick, which I think Man City's going to win, but any games I don't pick, that means there's something fishy with that game. It could go the way I thought, but I stay away from it because you see how sports go sometimes. So that's the show. Tuesday locks. UCL waiver show for week 4. Back cooking. Now we're going to send that JB on the beat. Rewind that for me one time. Oh, where is it? There it is. Yo, and that Over the Top by Drake. That shit's fire. That's a vibe for Tuesday morning. Let's get to it. Let's go. High Stakes Takes. Back with another one.